The very first day in New York, literally my soul took over me as I was talking to my general manager. And what came out of my mouth was everything about you're not utilizing me, you're not using the expertise that I have, and you're undermining me. And this is not what we agreed to. And I won't be your puppet. It's not the way to keep your job. So 2 hours later, I was fired.
Welcome to the Awaken Magazine podcast, where influential conscious leaders come to share the real stories behind their spiritual journey and how they're helping others awaken to love. I'm your host, David Trotter. Today, I'm excited to introduce you to Amanda Slade. This is her second visit to the podcast. Yes, she's our very first executive contributor that we've had the opportunity to sit down with 2 times. I'm so excited for you to hear all about her brand new book called Evolve into Your All. She is the creator of the Diamond Co-Creative System. Now, in this conversation, we revisit her story because I want to make sure you hear how she made the transition from corporate executive to spiritual teacher, leader, and coach. And she talks about how her soul got her fired. We also hear all about how she channeled the Diamond Co-Creative System, what it is. There are these amazing sacred geometric codes that you will be able to see if you go to our website, awakenmagazine.com, and click on the article with Amanda Slade, and you'll see all of those codes, or better yet, just go to her website, which we link to in our show notes. And then we also talk about her book, Evolve into Your All, which you've got to pick this up. This is like a primer on how to implement the Diamond Co-Creative System into your life and how it will help you shift from the third dimension through the fourth dimension into the fifth dimension and experience that type of living. Now, we also utilize something called the Universal Manifestation Template. She explains to us what it is and how we can utilize it in order to manifest our dreams and hopes and desires. Now, if you enjoy conversations like this that go beyond the surface of spirituality, you're in the right place. We interview so many amazing leaders, healers, and coaches each and every week. And so I would encourage you to subscribe wherever you're listening or watching, whether it's on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or on YouTube. Click subscribe, leave a rating or a review. That's an easy way for you to help us spread the word about these incredible conversations that we release each and every week. All right, let's dive into my interview with Amanda Slade. Well, Amanda, it is great to see you. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you for inviting me again. And I'm so happy to be playing with you for this next year again. So, yay.
Yes. So happy to have you as one of our executive contributors. For people who were not listening, have not watched the replay of our interview the first time, I would love to help them kind of get caught up to speed on Amanda in the past. How did Amanda experience this transformation, awakening to consciousness, mindfulness, spirituality? Specifically, I'd love to kind of go to 40-year-old Amanda and what she was experiencing. I mean, that was only 2 years ago, right? 2 years ago.
Okay. Thank you. You are so kind.
What was 40-year-old Amanda experiencing in life, and how did her soul get her fired?
Literally get me fired. So I very much grew up as the codependent should girl. And so I always was about what do I do next? What should I do? And what am I to accomplish? And I grew up with that mindset. I went through the corporate ladder and climbed it to actually my last position was a VP of sales and marketing. And I was in, very competitive industries, cosmetics, fragrance, pharmaceutical marketing, and always had leadership roles, executive roles. They were closing our office in Tampa, moving me to New York, and I really didn't want to go. So the very first day in New York, literally my soul took over me as I was talking to my general manager, and what came out of my mouth was everything about, you're not utilizing me, you're not using the expertise that I have, and you're undermining me, and this is not what we agreed to, and I won't be your puppet. And so when I hung up the phone, I went, "Oh, that's not the way, knowing marketing, that's not the way to keep your job." So 2 hours later, I was fired. But it was this energy that just took over me. And I had been getting back on a spiritual path about 2, 3 years prior to that, and was learning about energetic healing. So what was happening was I was shifting and changing, and I was awakening into what no longer worked, what no longer served me, and what no longer did I want in my life. But then I didn't really know what I wanted anymore because I had lived by the shoulds.
Mm, as do many of us. Yes.
Right. I know
So,
people can relate to this.
so the story that you're telling us is actually in one of the first chapters in your new book, Evolve into Your All. And it's got a long subtitle here, Amanda, so I'm going to read it. I didn't have that memorized. Create and live in the fifth dimension of love, joy, and prosperity, featuring the Diamond Co-Creative System. And so this is an incredible book. If you're watching or listening, of course, this is linked in our show notes and encourage you to get it. This title, Evolve into Your all doesn't mean just everything.
Right.
ALL stands for something. Tell us what it stands for and why is that important to you?
So, well, it stands for actually absolute or abundant light and love. But what it really is showing you is that you're much more than this human body. And so when my soul got me fired, in corporate, I was probably for about 3, 4 years after that, just trying to figure out who I was because I only identified myself as a vice president of sales and marketing. I didn't know who Amanda was. And I certainly didn't know my all, meaning I didn't know who I truly was. So the all, yes, has that acronym, absolute or abundant light and love, but it's really the all of you. And this is what all of us are really becoming, and we're really being actually propelled into this because of what's going on in the world. We have to choose us, we have to choose ourselves, and we have to choose the all of who we are and stand in that. So, and the all can be too. You can have it all. It's not an either or, it's an and energy.
Evolve into your all. Abundant light and love, or absolute light and love, as you said as well. I'm curious, when you talk about us becoming our all, so much of our existence is what we can discern or take in from our five senses, what we can
Right.
see, taste, touch, feel, hear. But you talk a lot about in the beginning of the book our energy and paying attention to our energy. And you're not just meaning our physical energy level, you're talking about a different type of energy. Why is energy so important? Why do we need to be paying attention to that?
Well, energy actually lets you know where you're at. It lets you know what you're feeling. It lets you know what you're thinking. It lets you know what kind of actions that you're taking. So, if you're in a high vibrational energy, you feel good. You are inspired. You're motivated, but not motivated by fear. You're motivated through love. You're motivated through what you really desire, but not from a have to or a should. So you can use those five senses, but you really have a sixth sense. You have that intuitive, psychic, soul aligned value of yourself. You have a spirit part of you. And so the energy is that you can know when you're in low frequency energy or high frequency energy. And you get to choose. So, a lot what's going on in the world right now is a lot of low frequency, fear based energy. But you get to choose how you're going to navigate through it. And you get to choose how you're going to live your life, create your business, be, the fulfill have the fulfillment and the satisfaction that you would like in your life, your business, your relationships. So, energy is super important. And you can tell too, let's say you're in relationship with someone, you can tell when the energy is off because maybe they're not saying something or they're going away mad or you feel depressed or they feel depressed or upset. The energy is off. So it's important to decipher what the energy is, where it's sourced from. Is it sourced from them, or is it really sourced from your old programming, conditioning, um, your way of being? And many of us grow up in conditioning and programming that is sourced from fear, from codependency, from lack, from not good enough, I'm not enough, that kind of energy. And that doesn't propel you into a relationship that's interdependent, that values both your energy, their energy, to create a new energy, a collaborative energy, a collective energy between the two of you.
Hmm. That is so true. Literally, my partner Mandy and I were just having a conversation a few minutes ago, and I could tell something was just slightly off. And we went through the list of things we needed to talk about, and I go, why are you upset? Like, what's going on? No, I'm fine. I'm fine. No, 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 no. Like, really? No, I'm fine. I go, I will just tell her, I go, you're lying to me right now. You are lying to me, And I'm trying to be playful,
Yeah.
but it's also sometimes we don't want to share what that little energetic imbalance is, or we may not even be aware that we're in that spot because we haven't tapped into, become conscious about what we're feeling. And so what's interesting about what you're saying is it seems like the five senses, I think about how integral the five senses are in helping us keep our vibration up. What do
Yeah.
I listen to? What do I look at?
Oh,
What do I ingest,
absolutely.
right?
Yeah. If you're watching the news constantly, that would be not a frequency that you want to be watching.
Right, right. All of
Yeah.
those things can be so challenging. So
Yeah.
one of the things that is in the very beginning of the book, and those of who are our longtime listeners are not unfamiliar with this language or this concept, but you are helping us move from the third dimension through the fourth dimension to the fifth dimension. And this is on page 25. And I just want to show people just these great graphs and charts and wonderful resources that Amanda has in her book. And so you talk about the difference between the third dimension and fifth dimension. Walk us through that as a basic primer. What are the difference
Yeah.
between those dimensions, and why would we even, this may seem like a ridiculous question to some people, but why would we want to live in the fifth dimension?
Well, first of all, I love what you were talking about with the five senses and the energy, because in the third dimension, the energy is reactive. It's on automatic pilot, like what you were just talking about with Mandy. She might just be on automatic pilot on something and not really understand where she's at. Or she might and doesn't want to share it yet because she's working through it herself. And that's really important for people to discern. If you're being reactive, then it's all about you. If you're being triggered by someone else or they're annoying or, they're irritating, well, then what's annoying and irritating within you?
I was the one who was being irritating, just so you know.
But it's really understanding in the third dimension that reactive energy is also fear based. It's conditioned, it's programmed. It can also have bleed throughs from lineage encoding, genetic encoding, and even past lives. And what that means is there's energy that's impacting you, influencing and impacting you in ways that you don't maybe even realize. So, in the third dimension, so it's fear, it's separation, it's competition, it's an either or energy. It's also an energy that really doesn't allow you to be fully you because you're going to be conditioned. Oh, I better only say this because they're going to react this way. Or in order to get what I want, because there's a chase energy, there's a suffering, struggle energy, and this to get what I want, I need to say this or I need to do this. Instead of in the fifth dimension, there's an allowance, but there's a bridge between the third and the fifth. The bridge is the fourth dimension. And this is what a lot of people are going through right now. They're awakening to, ooh, I really don't like where we're at. I don't like where are at as a society, as humanity, and I don't like where I'm at personally. And I don't like where I'm at, whether it's personally or professionally. And so there's an awakening that's occurring of, there is much more than this physical body. I'm much more than this physical body. I'm a spiritual being having a human experience. Oh, there's spirit. Oh, I have a soul's essence. I have a soul. And oh, I can embody that soul. I can actually emanate my soul's essence. And by doing that, I'm emanating my soul's passion, purpose. It's planned for me what I came here to experience, to live, to create, to manifest. So that fourth dimension is that bridge. And you become more conscious and you also become the observer in the fourth dimension because you observe, I don't like this. This doesn't work for me. Oh, wow, look at what's going on out there. I don't know that I really want to be part of that. And so you start being the observer. And then in the fifth dimension, you are actually the conscious creator. And what's coming in from the guides is also you're the conscious leader of your own life, and you're also the conscious leader maybe in what you're doing, whether it's a career or a business or the contribution that you're making out in the world. But in the fifth dimension, the vibration is a higher frequency. So third is lower frequency, fourth is kind of in between, fifth is a high frequency. It's love, it's joy, peace, prosperity, abundance. It's co-creation, collaboration, you and cooperative. You know that you're here to co-create with others, to also co-create with spirit, with your spirit guides, with the divine, and ways that really would work for you and that get you where you want to go. And in the fifth dimension, you actually realize, oh, I have every divine right to ask for what I want and to also allow for what wants to come in, what the possibilities are. So in the third, you're really locked in. It's a very restrictive energy. Fourth, you're opening it up. Fifth, you're going, okay, what you got? You know?
Wonderful. That's such a great explanation. And I encourage people, you want to get the book, frankly. I mean, there's so many resources, but just that chart alone is very helpful because I know as I'm reading through the different elements, I'm like, ooh, in that part of my life, I am kind of grasping, or in that part of life, I am in the competitive mode, or, it's
Oh,
easy to
yeah.
get sucked into that scarcity,
So
especially those who are watching, who are business owners, even in the spiritual space, consciousness space. it can feel like there's not enough. I got to somehow compete and strive and grasp for more of clients or publicity or whatever it might be, and it's a great uh, tool to reflect with.
And what I like about that chart is it gives you, here's how you would think and feel in the third dimension. Here's what the fourth dimension looks like, and here's the fifth dimension. So here's the key piece on the fifth dimension, because people go, "Oh, I'll get there and I'll not have any problems or challenges in my life." No, that's not true. So we don't want to lead you astray on that. But in the fifth dimension, the challenges, problems come, and you're able to navigate through them quicker, easier, and with better outcomes. And you actually release the need that it should show up a certain way, that it needs to be a certain way. Like you brought up the thing about business owners, if you feel like there's not enough, or you're grasping, you're chasing, yeah, you're definitely in that third dimension, maybe some fourth, but in the fifth dimension, you really release the chase. And I got to tell you, coming from a corporate background, coming from how I grew up, that's been a very, that's been an evolvement, I've evolved into
That's
your
a
all.
nice way to say it. I've been evolving in that area of my life.
Well, and even now, it refines. I noticed we had a couple things on the books that we were going to do, in the fourth quarter of this year, and because the chase was after, wanting to invite people into the Diamond Code Creative Systems accreditation program, and these would lead to that. And then I'm like, wait, that just feels very chase energy right now, and we were going to actually create another program. And I'm like, no, that's chasing. Not going to do that. We're going to concentrate on this. We're going to focus here, and we'll just move back that timeline. It doesn't need to be right now. And when you allow yourself to be guided, because that was a guidance from my soul, from my guides, from the divine. What are you doing? Mm-mm. Like, you've decided you do not want to live in that kind of energy or do business that way. So what are you doing here? And because I take the time to meditate, I work with the Diamond Code Creative System on every day, then I get the answers, or I what's revealed to me is, you don't really want to go down that path. That's an old path. The becoming your all doesn't do is not that.
Hmm. It's not named chase your all. It's evolve into your all.
But
I'm
I
an
gotta
expert in
tell you,
chasing my all.
yeah, I got to tell you, when I left corporate, I had no idea what I wanted to do. And I had absolutely no idea who I was, what I wanted to do, and what my purpose was. And I really chased after that purpose for about 2, 3, 4 years. And then the system actually downloaded, came into fruition because I kept on asking. And then I argued with the guides, like, what is this thing? What are you, like, no. And I kept on being told, you're a healer. You're a teacher. You're going to be teaching this. I'm like, no, I'm not. This is totally weird. I'm not doing this.
Well,
Yeah.
let's talk about this, because
Yeah.
you've referenced, for those who aren't aware, the Diamond Co-Creative System, which is what the book is really based on and what it's all about. What is the system? How did it come into your life? Maybe just give us a quick refresher.
Yeah, so the Diamond Code Creative System literally downloaded or channeled in, and it channeled in as, the what now we call Diamond Code Creation codes. And I didn't know what these codes were. I didn't know what they were, what they were, their purpose was. And but immediately what they did was format themselves into the manifestation template, which we're going to talk about in a bit, and everyone's going to experience. But
And just so people can see, the codes are these geometric shapes that are beautifully created in the book in color. And just so you know what those codes are, each one means something. So
yeah, and so the system itself is an alchemical 12th dimension technology. What does that really mean? It fuses sacred geometry with science. So the science is the sacred geometry with spiritual principles and then really life strategy. So we even call it a soul line success system because what it does, it helps you connect back into yourself. And even if you feel connected, go deeper with yourself because we're always evolving. Even the universe is always evolving because it's infinite, right? So the system is formatted through these diamond code creation codes, which are all created on Metatron's cube. And I talk about this more in the book. But what that gives you is Metatron's cube, sacred geometry, is the construct of the universe. And that's all based, it formatted from the energy of love, from the vibrations of love. And from that, what the system does is it helps you again become aware of the energy, reconnect to yourself in a different way, but it helps with the healing and transformation of energies which are out of alignment with who you are, your sacred geometry of love. Your divine blueprint is a sacred geometry of love. Uh, But in lifetimes, it gets skewed because we're now holding on to past experiences that maybe we've interpreted as negative, or I'm never going to come back and do that again. Let's say they've been profound teachers, healers, manifestors, that type of thing in the past. But I'm not going to allow that this lifetime because what happened was this in that lifetime. And so now we have all this energy in our field, in our cellular memory that's gunking up the process, you know? And and so what the system does, it helps you unwind that and really it helps you to unravel what no longer serves you. And then it helps you to reconstruct, recalibrate, redesign into the highest format, um, mm, the highest potential of who you are, that soul's essence of love and what you came here to do, to be in this lifetime.
And so there are 13, correct? 13 codes that are geometric shapes, and each code has a spiritual meaning behind it. Can you rattle
Yeah,
those off real quick? What are
yeah.
the 13?
Yeah, so each code has a purpose, has a quality, has a vibration to it. So the foundation code starts at the root chakra. The root chakra is all about, survival, safety, security. We shifted into thrival, and safety and security comes within. Creation, Diamond Code Creation Code works with your second chakra. The second chakra is all about your creativity, your health, your well being, and also fusing the divine feminine and masculine together as a sacred union. The power Diamond Code Creation Code is about, it works with your sacred solar plexus, which is your power center, your self esteem. Then we have two codes that work with the heart, compassion and anchor. And why? Think about your heart. You have a right and left ventricle. And so one works with the feminine aspect of your heart, bringing love, joy, peace within your heart. And anchor works in the masculine aspect so that you are creating that beautiful contribution that you came here to do. And then we have the expression Diamond Code Creation Code. and that works with your throat chakra. And so, throat is about voice and choice. Most people have this really clenched up because we were told not to speak, not to be heard, and we didn't feel like we had choices in our lives. We didn't feel like we could have it all. Then in the sixth chakra has two codes as well, right and left brain, right? We have receive, which works with the feminine, allowing that receiving, that intuitive part of you, that trust part, and manifest that masculine part that sees the vision of what's possible and to really move you into that manifestation state. And then the connection Diamond Co-Creation Code works with the crown chakra. And that crown chakra, it opens you up, allows for the flow of universal energy, your connection to source, but also your connection to yourself and all aspects of yourself, to your soul. Then we have the H chakra, we have grace. And grace, with that one, we have two different graces. This one is the silver, and the grace is with a silver band. And the grace code works with that H chakra, which gives you access to your Akashic records so that you can actually pull those in and heal those. But also, it works with your the life purpose. The ninth chakra, we have the wisdom code. The wisdom code is the ninth chakra works with your soul's blueprint, plan, purpose. So by working with the wisdom that you already have within you, and accessing the wisdom of your soul and accessing the wisdom of the divine. Then we have the 10th chakra. The 10th chakra has the grounded code. The grounded code helps, the 10th chakra is actually below your feet, and it creates a divine foundation that you can stand upon. So it helps you ground in that divinity of who you are, but also ground what you're here to do, who you are, so that you can live as that. The 11th chakra is the 11th chakra gives you access to your advanced spiritual skills that are there. And it also allows you to embody more of your soul's essence. And with that one is the grace code with the gold band. And then the 12th chakra is the access to universal source energy, the cosmic. It really allows you to open up to what is there for you. And both the gratitude codes, which are both have a silver metallic band and a gold band, both of the gratitude codes are what the 12th chakra works with. And why gratitude? Because gratitude opens you up into it's one of the highest vibration, as far as the hertz, if you will. And it's one of the highest vibrations that they can attract the more of what you want.
Thank you so much.
Was
Yeah.
that, I think you took me on a test to see if I really knew.
Yeah. I was thinking we were going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I mean, I got a full education on all of them. So thank you so much. And now what's interesting is I know with the system, you can work with individual codes in order to call that in and cultivate that in your life. But you also have something in the system called elevation codes, where you utilize two codes coming together. And so I'm just curious, what's the difference between working with two codes, elevation codes, and how that is beneficial versus just working with one?
Yep. So on the one, working with one gets you to really know the codes. And we actually suggest people join our Diamond Code Club, which goes through codes, code by code each month, right? But the elevation codes, they came in during the time of COVID. Because during COVID, I lived up in San Francisco at that time. I would go down by the bay when it was so quiet, right? And I would ask the system, how can we help? How can we serve? I know there's more that we could do to help with what's going on with COVID. and how can we help people heal their health, but also all the ramifications that were happening with the emotional and mental, the spiritual uh, issues that were occurring. And so what came in was the code started combining themselves, and they would call themselves a certain name. So what when it's kind of that same, when two or more are gathered, so much more can happen, right? So what I found, in because I know the code so well, as I started working with these new codes, I went, whoa, they were so much more potent. They were actually 44 times more potent than a single code. And I just went, whoa, I'm sorry, 10 times more potent than the single code. I'm thinking of the ascension code, because then they also brought in the ascension codes, which is a combination of four codes. And but the Evolve Into Your All book, we presented the elevation codes. And what we found with the elevation codes, it quickens the process, and people can go deeper, and and there's such a combination of the codes, and again, their names let you know what they really do, because that they made it very simple. Okay, if I'm going to call on the love elevation code, it's about love. If I'm calling on the joy elevation code, it's about joy. The thrive code, it's about thriving. The abundant code, it's about abundance, right? So they made it really easy to get to know the codes better. And in Evolve Your All, we use the elevation codes with the fifth dimension elevation principles.
Hmm. Talk to me about the elevation principles. And I keep encouraging people to get the book, because each Amanda's mind and or way of seeing the world. I guess let me say this. I just believe that universe source consciousness chooses certain individuals that have a certain inherent gift in order to channel or communicate something in a very specific way. And so the way that Amanda has channeled this system is with a lot of structure. It's
Yes.
very organized. It just, if your brain likes, okay, this makes sense in terms of a logical like presentation of content, this book is for you, because each chapter discusses what you call a fifth dimension elevation principle and a certain elevation code in the process. And so, talk to me through what is an elevation principle.
So I love that you brought that piece in. One of the things that when the system came in, I really said to the guides, this can't just be a woo woo etheric thing. This needs to be practical, to give us practical results, and or tangible results, and be done in a practical way. And because of my corporate background, I have that capacity, but I have also that capacity to let the information channel through.
It almost sounds like what you just said to your guides was what you said to your boss back in the day. Hey, you're not doing it the right way. You got to utilize my skills. All right. I heard it. I heard the echo there.
That's
And
good,
you know what's
David.
funny is I really believe that's how source works through us is you were chosen because of your giftedness to bring it through in a certain flavor and way. And that's great. I think it's wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what I love about the fifth dimension principles is it really gives people an opportunity, a way to understand like the elevation principle of love in a whole different way, because love can be this big old, you know, big old thing, right? Like, what does that really mean? And one of the ways that they simplified it was living only vibrant energy. Oh, well, I can understand that. I can understand energy. I can understand if I'm vibrant. So, even early in my days of this business, I've been doing this for 25 years. In the early days, I was doing it like the corporate get this done kind of thing. And I wasn't really having fun. And especially when it came to marketing, I'm like, "Oh, I don't want to market, whatever." And then I went, oh, wait, living only vibrant energy. Okay, how could I shift into vibrant energy? How can I move my energy? How can I move my thoughts, my feelings about marketing into a vibrant energy? And so I had to do the internal work about that, right? Be okay to be visible, to be seen, and be okay with if people didn't agree with it, they don't agree with it, and just not be attached, but be of service in the way that I am here to be of service. And it's not going to be everyone's cup of tea, and that's okay. So I had to heal my codependency that everyone loves me, validates me, approves of me, and I had to heal the attachment that people get it, because some might not, or some might not want it, and that's okay. There's such a love and compassion that occurs because of that, right? And an ease and grace that occurs. Um, but what I love about the fifth dimension principles is the guides also brought in universal laws to help you understand them more, because universal laws are not man-made laws. They're what how the universe is constructed, and when you read the universal laws, oh, this principle just makes so much sense. So I
Hmm.
love how they weaved it together.
Hmm. Each one of the chapters also not only includes an elevation principle, but an elevation code protocol.
Yes.
So, what is a protocol? And let's go for like the example of the love elevation code. What are the two codes that are coming together for the love elevation code? And then what is the protocol?
Yeah, so think of a protocol like if you went into the medical field and or needed a medical treatment, they give you a protocol to follow, right? And that protocol to follow is the treatment of whatever ails you, right? So what the protocol does is the protocol gives you ability to what we say to CCC it, to clear, cleanse, and calibrate. And what that is about releasing the energies that you might be aware of, and maybe even energy that you're not aware of. Because here's the cool thing about the system: each code has its own divine cell consciousness. What does that mean? Well, you don't need to control it, you don't need to figure it out. It knows what you need and want, even if you don't. And it even knows the more of what's available to you. So in the protocol, we have the CCC, so you're releasing it. And
And
any,
by the way, this is the love protocol right here.
yep,
So there's a different chart for each one of the protocols, and very well organized. So keep going. My apologies. I just want to make
no,
sure people
no
know these
worries.
resources.
So the CCC part of it is you're releasing all the energies that no longer serve you. Again, anytime that you release energy, you do have to repattern, replace energy. If you leave that void, it's just going to fill up with what you already know. Okay. So then we have the EEE part, and that's energize, elevate, evolve. And that's helping to recalibrate, redesign your energy within the chakras, within your energy bodies. And what this is the science of this is when you do that, it's also redesigning, recalibrating your neural pathways. It's reconstructing your neural pathways, and those neural pathways are fed by what your thoughts, your feelings, your energy is. So the more that then you focus on what the positive is and the new energy, all of that that was happening before is now falling away, doesn't even come, you know, although I always kid around with the universe. Okay, you're testing me right now, right? To see if I really healed this. They'll bring in a person or a situation, and if there's no trigger and I'm neutral, I am. I have healed that. I have transformed whatever was going on there because I'm in neutrality now. So you asked about the love code. So each of the protocols has several codes that it works with in each section. But the main part, if we're doing like a certain protocol, like the love protocol, the main code is the love code, elevation code. And that one is combined with the compassion diamond co-creation code and the connection co-creation code. Now, why would it be that? Well, your heart and your crown. When you connect these, and when these are in alignment, then what's flowing through you is more of the divinity, the love, the soul that you are. So that's what's then re recalibrating and reconfiguring your chakras and your energy bodies. So,
Wonderful. Thank you.
yeah,
Yeah, it's wonderful.
yeah.
As you think about how people would engage with this book, what would you suggest? Reading it from cover to cover, reading until you get to a certain elevation code, and then working with that code each week? What would be the best way to work through the book?
It really depends on the person, but first of all, I would read the first chapters up until, 1 through 7, so you understand what you're dealing with,
Right, right.
and really understand, oh, what this can do. Once you get to the elevation principles and codes, I would actually suggest people read that chapter and work with it for the week. Now, some may work with it for a couple weeks or even a month. Um, but you listen to yourself, listen to your intuition. And we say this all throughout the book, listen to yourself, is you'll know when to move on. And it doesn't mean that you're not going to solve everything all at once. But let's say you're specifically dealing with a certain issue. Take that issue and work those codes or work each chapter with that issue. And what will happen is you'll see that specific issue shift and as you work each chapter. The other thing that I'd highly recommend anyone do is to also come and play with us in our Evolve Your All Fifth Dimension mentorship program because we're not here to do this alone. And I got to tell you, I have people that have been in this program for 4 years and they come back. Why? Because they go deeper, they expand more, their life is changing so much more, their businesses. I have people that were so afraid of being a leader that are so now confident and trusting themselves being a leader, not only in their business, but in their life. And, this is the practical shifts. You love yourself more, you're confident, you trust, you see much more that's available to you, the visions that are there. You don't let challenges get in your way. You move through those. You go through them like the fire and you just move through them. And if you have relationship issues, your relationship changes. Some of them go away. They fall away because they're not there for you. That is not they've you've gotten to a point where that no longer serves you. Or the relationship evolves. I have some people where their relationship with their husbands have gotten so much better than they ever had it before. But they're standing in their own power and their own wisdom. And where they maybe acquiesced before and weren't really powerful in their relationship. Now they are, and their husbands are loving it. And, or they're, again, they weren't that confident in what they were doing, and how they were to contribute. I have people that are starting new businesses. I have people that are expanding their businesses, and all of it is because what happens is you become more connected to yourself and to your soul's wisdom and power, and again what you're here to do, but you're not trying to force it, and it's not about getting you exhausted by doing it or just getting burnt out. It's about being in flow now.
Amanda, you seem slightly passionate about this.
You think? I love seeing people just blossom. I mean,
Right.
I have
Yes.
watched I have clients that have been with me for years, and not because they have to, because they got their things wrong or broken. Why? Because they're always wanting to evolve into their all.
I love
They're
that.
like, "Oh, okay, I got this. Now I want this," you
I
know?
love that.
Yeah.
Wonderful. One of the things that I want us to talk about and walk through is something called the Universal Manifestation Template. And we'll put it up on the screen. Here it is in the book itself. And I know, Amanda, you have a link where people can download a copy of this if they don't want to get the book, although you should get the book. Uh,
Thank
Tell
you.
me about the Universal Manifestation Template. What is it, and help us use it today?
So, what's really cool about the universal manifestation template? I told you when the system first downloaded back in 2001, the first thing that it did was create this template. And they had me put a logo in it. And it was a logo of a business that I was trying to start. And everything about that business fell away in 6 weeks. Oh my gosh, I was so grateful. I wasn't upset about it. I was just so grateful. Like, okay, that's not the path. That's not where I was to go. And that saved me lots of time, money, energy, effort, and really being blown away later on that it wasn't going to work. I and out of that was birth co-create your success. So what I love about the manifestation template is what you do is you put a desire on the template. So let's say you want to manifest uh, a love relationship, or you're just about loving yourself right now and you want to heal your codependency, or maybe that you want to use it for business. You can use it for multiple reasons, both for yourself, relationships, business, finances, health, homes. I have manifested 3 new homes through the manifestation template, and so it's very practical. People used it to raise their revenue in their business. They go, I would like this revenue go. And what happens with the manifestation template? You've now asked the universe for help, and you have activated what's possible. So, what the manifestation template will do is it will show you everything that's out of alignment with that, as well as everything that is in alignment. Now, why is that important? If you have a revenue goal or a love goal or a certain goal, but it's vibrating at a certain level. But if you're vibrating here, down here, there's not a vibrational match, right? So you the the key is to raise your vibration to match your desire. And to when you match your desire, it comes together really quickly and easily. So what the manifestation template will do is help reveal what you're not in alignment with and what may be going on within you from an energetic standpoint. It's all about energy. This is not a mind game. This is not about an affirmation. This is about vibration. And so when you raise your frequency and match it, and then it manifests. And it can manifest even more than what you even thought, what you even imagine. I had one home that I wanted to manifest, and I said, "Oh, what the heck? I'm going to put that it's by the water. I'm overlooking the water. I see this amazing view." And it manifested the home that we had in San Francisco that was in Tiburon that overlooked the San Francisco Bay, saw the Golden Gate Bridge, out my bedroom window, out my living room window, out my office. It was like, okay. And I had other criteria about it being affordable and all of this, and all of that just quote magically occurred. But when you're really committed to what your desire is and you're not attached how it happens or if it happens, then what will happen is the universe will show you what's even possible, what's more possible than what you even envisioned.
All right. And so we have a link where people can download the Universal Manifestation Template. It's obviously in the book, page 38, but you want to be able to utilize it more times than just one time right in the book.
Oh, absolutely.
You can print it out.
Yep, you print it out, and I was guided early on to give this as a gift. This is the universe's way of giving you the gift of what's possible and for you to manifest your all, your what you want, and also what your soul wants for you.
And so they can find the link in our show notes. It's cocreateyoursuccess.com/manifest your all. And we will put that link in all of our show notes, of course, for you to download the Universal Manifestation Template. Amanda, you've mentioned several different ways that people can work with you. But if somebody's just being introduced to the Diamond Co-Creative System, and of course they can get the book, but what's another way that they can work with you that would be most helpful?
Um, First of all, they can always book a 20-minute free consult that I have available to them. But the easiest way is if you've gotten the book, come into Evolve Your All, because you're going to be working with me twice a month in a group setting. You have the opportunity, you can always work with me one-on-one as well. But also in the Diamond Code Club has the individual codes, and we meet again once a month. And we do have group coaching available through one of my accredited practitioners with the system. And it's just a really powerful way, first of all, to be in a community that is heart centered and like minded, and that really are committed to what they want in their life and don't know necessarily how to get there, or they know some, but they want more, and this is the beauty of it. And we also have our mastermind, master heart, and master soul, diamond light circle. And that's an intimate group that works with me throughout for a year. But it's not works with me. We actually co-create an amazing circle of light and love and contribution, and only 12 can be part of the group. So it's a very intimate group that includes, week monthly uh, gatherings with us. We do 2 in-person retreats, but that's really our most robust program. But you would know if you're called to it, because it really is about you saying yes and standing standing for what you're here to do, and not only to do, to be, to do, to experience, and to embody. So there's multiple ways of people that can work with me, with us, but more so be in our beautiful Diamond Co-Creator community.
Wonderful. And then those who are really passionate about learning the system, implementing the system, helping other people learn the system, then you even have an accreditation program. Is that correct?
That's correct. Yeah. And we'll be the accreditation program is for coaches, practitioners, teachers, and like if you already have your practice, you're looking for another modality. And one of the things that I can say to you is if you already have another modality, don't worry about will that compete with it? No, the system does not compete, it only enhances, so you can bring the other modality in, the system in with your other modality, or if you're looking for something that really accelerates your experience for your clients. I know our gal that is accredited, she has seen how it has exponentially impacted her clients in their movement and in their healing and transformation. So that accreditation program is definitely available, and it is something that you can use just for individuals, or if you decide that you want to actually create your own program with the codes, you can do that when you get accredited for groups as well.
Wonderful. Amanda, such good things. Tell us, I've already mentioned a website, but if you could just remind us what's the best place for people to connect with you, both in terms of the web and social media.
Co-create your success. And what's interesting about that name, David, is that name came in years and years ago. And I'm like, why are we using this name? But what I found I was talking about fifth dimension back in 2005, 2006. Didn't even really realize it. And that co-create piece is very important because we're not doing this on our own. We're co-creating within ourselves, different aspects of ourselves. We're co-creating with our soul. We're co-creating with our guides. And we're co-creating with the divine. And we're co-creating with others, and it's all orchestrated if we allow for the orchestration to fine tune itself and to happen.
Wonderful. Co-createyoursuccess.com and Co-Create Your Success on all the different platforms. We'll link to those, of course, in our show notes. Amanda, thank you so much for the
Thank
book.
you.
Thank you for your wisdom. Thank you for what you're doing in the world. Really appreciate it.
Thank you. I appreciate you too and everything that you're doing with Awaken Magazine.
Thanks for listening to the Awaken Magazine podcast. If you enjoyed this episode and our other conversations, would you mind taking a moment to leave a 5-star review and maybe even a comment on Spotify or Apple Podcasts? That's one of the ways that you can give back to the show and help us reach more people. And of course, feel free to share the episode with a friend. And if you're not already on our email list, we send out an inspiring email every Monday morning full of articles and interviews. Just head on over to awakenedmagazine.com and click subscribe and join for free. Our hope is that all the resources we share will help our world continue awakening to love.